Hey guys, so welcome back. Well, on the bench today we've got a pretty cool looking radio. This is an RCA from I think about 1950. It is a model 9X 561, I believe. It's an All-American 5, but it's got an 8-inch speaker on it. So this will be really interesting to see how this thing sounds. And so we'll get into it. Let's see. So it's got the dial runs along the bottom, and the controls are on the side. There's a control here on the side, and I haven't worked them yet, so I'm not sure which one does what. Okay, that's the on-off and volume. So this one over here should be tuning. Let's see if it'll move the needle. Oops. Here's the bug right here. Yep, it's moving. Alright, good. I'm not going to overdo that. Real cloth is in really good condition. There I did, I've said it twice. This might be Bakelite, I'm not certain, but certainly looks similar to it. Let's take a look around this. And by the way, I paid $16 for this. So here's the side. I don't see any cracks in it like the Emerson had. Here's the back. We've got the golden throat sticker. And this reminds me, the power cord broke off. Where'd it go? It's around here somewhere. Power cord's on the ground somewhere. And here's the other side. And then we take a look at the bottom, which is where it has the model number, tube chart, and so forth. Okay. I'm anxious to get this thing open and take a look at what it looks like inside. Let's do that. This is out of the Riders. As you can see, it's basically an All-American 5 series string transformerless. It's got a 35Z5 rectifier, converter, IF, detector AVC, first audio, and a 50L6 output to drive that 8-inch speaker. So that'll be interesting to see. We have a permanent magnet speaker. I'm probably going to test that coil pretty soon. I don't know why. I just think I might. And make sure that that's not messed up before we go too much further into this. Like you say, you never know why these things were put away. So maybe that's one of the things we'll look for and see if we can figure out. So hang on, we'll start getting this thing open. Come on. Let's take a look inside. We'll see if there's something I'm missing. Maybe there's a clip or something involved. Okay, we've got ourselves a loop antenna that is intact. Tip it down where you can see it. Let's see, it doesn't have any connections on it. That's kind of a hassle. Just turn this to the side. Okay, let me get in there and see how those knobs are held on. Looks like it's just a friction clip. Okay. All right, we've got a date. Look at here. Can you see that? September 1950. Can you see that? Let's see. There you go. You see right here, September 1950. Excellent. Here's where the cord was. That's fine. We didn't need it anyway. All right, we're taking a look at the speaker. Speaker looks pretty good. I don't see a problem with it yet. There's a switch down here. I'm not sure what that's about. Oh, it says phono this way, and there's a phono output. So it's actually switched to phono now. That's interesting. Okay. Then we've got tunable slugs on the IF cans. And we've got our full tube complement. We've got a couple of dial lights in there for the dial. That's nice. Okay, I think we're about ready to pull this out. Let's see, the speaker has removable plugs. Okay, that's good news. Looks like to me. There we go. Nice. Quit hitting the speaker, will you? Okay. Oh, we still got to take those last two screws out. Okay. Okay, we're now ready to bring the chassis out. Okay, let's take a look at the case and the speaker. Case looks like it's in good shape. The dial lens is nice. It's got like a light pipe, place for a couple of bulbs to set inside there. The case looks like it's in very good condition. I don't see any cracks, anything in it. The speaker looks really good. It's a permanent magnet speaker, so I'm sure we're pretty good on that. Just while we got it, I guess we'll check to see if we've got any impedance across the voice coil, since we've got it sitting right here. There you go. Yep, forum speaker has continuity through the voice coil. Speaker should be good. And it looks okay. I mean, it might have some glue down problems around the perimeter or buzzing or something. We won't know until we test it out, but so far so good. It looks good. The only other thing I'd say about this is I guess when whoever it was that had this decided to give it away, they wrote on it 73, old friend. Alright, so that's probably on there with a permanent marker, and it'll probably not ever come off. Unfortunate. Very unfortunate. Okay. We'll get it to see if we can get it to sound good though, right? Okay, I guess I'm going to have to desolder the connections for the antenna. Let me do that and I'll bring you back. Okay, so we got the antenna free, finally. Pretty simple. No trimmers on this piece. All right, we'll get this out of the way. Keep it safe. Shall we take a look to see what we got underneath? Has anybody been in here? Has anyone been in here? I don't see any evidence that somebody's been here. It's nice the oscillator is adjustable from out here. That's nice. I don't see any evidence that somebody's been here before. Let's go a little closer. Okay, here's where the power cord comes in. Here's our on-off switch down here. We've got a moldy looking filter capacitor. I don't know that that looks like factory soldering there. So this might have been replaced at some point or another. But I don't think anybody's been in here in a very long time. Actually, it looks pretty good. I don't see any markings, like somebody's put their initials or something like that in here. Looks good. Looks really good. Okay, let's take a look at what we've got. We know that we've got a audio output transformer. Let's check it. Okay, I can check the secondary pretty easily because the speaker wires are disconnected for us. Okay, the speaker wire is here. All right, so we have a good look here. Yep, meter's working. So let's see how our secondary looks. Looks good. And that doesn't surprise me. Okay, let's go for the primary. All right, so we're going to check the primary of the audio output transformer, since we've had some recent excitement with that. So what we're going to do is we can check from pin 3, which is the plate of the audio output tube. That'll get us the blue line. And that goes right here. See that pretty easily. And then we have a screen tap, which is for distortion, that comes over here, but I want the other lead. I want this red lead here. And this red lead comes down and it tries to go to pin 8 of the rectifier, but really it goes to a junction of a 15 ohm resistor and a capacitor. So 15 will be brown green, right? Black, ground green black. We have a brown yellow black. That would be 14 ohms, right? Let's see what we get on this. I mean, would that be close enough? So it's, well, I don't know, it's reading 15, 16 ohms. So, okay. So here's one end of the audio output tube right here. And here's the other one. Sorry, audio output transformer, primary. And here's the other one. Oh boy, we're getting something. 328 kiloohms. Well, what do you know? We found a good audio output transformer. Okay, well that's kind of half the battle, isn't it? All right, so we know that that's good. There's no other transformer to really worry about. I'm not going to worry about the IFs right now. Whether they have silver mica is easy, I don't know. We'll assume this coil is okay, the oscillator coil, and we're going to just move on. So let's see if we've got string continuity through these guys right here. Okay, before I power this up, I'm going to check continuity of the series string here. So what we're going to do is we're going to start here. I've got so the power cord comes in and it goes to this, ground symbol. This is a common floating ground. It's floating from the chassis here. So this is the ground I was just pointing at, but that's the chassis. So it's separated by a capacitor and a resistor. So this is one of the load lines, and it comes over here. It's the one that's attached to the switch. So I've got that connected here. Okay. So I've got that set up for resistance and nothing. Okay. So what we're going to do is work our way away from that and see if we can make it all the way to here, go from here all the way to here without losing it. So we go to V3 pin 8, V3. That should be right because it's a direct connection. Okay, now we go to V7. Okay, we're looking at the resistance here. Okay. So now we're going to go to V1 pin 7. V1 pin 7 is here. Okay, we got something going through to there. Now we go to pin 2 of V7, of V1. Pin 2. 1, 2. Okay. So now we'll go to pin 2 of V2, which is this one. 1, 2. Okay. And now we'll go to 7 of V2, which is here. Okay. Now we go to 7 of V4. V4 is up here. 7 of V4 is there. 2 of E4 is here. 2 of E4 is good. And now see if we make it to pin 7 of the rectifier. And that's here. Good. That works. So we'll have to see if our rectifier is working. But we have continuity through this. So now we're ready to go for power up. Let's switch this around to measure DC. So I'll be able to measure that with this. And we'll bring the voltage up slow on this. So you're going to watch the voltage come up. I'm going through a variac, a dim bulb, isolation transformer, fuse, all that kind of stuff, and you can read the voltage coming out here. So I've got something that probably hasn't been powered up in a long time. So I'm going to watch out for that capacitor exploding right in a sensitive place. So bring the voltage up. You're going to be watching it over here. Focus. There we go. I have the speaker wired in with the connections here. Power switch is on. Nothing on the dim bulb. $40. Let's see if we're going to get something out of the rectifier. We'll see it on pin 8 and it wants to reach 121 volts. So pin 8 of the rectifier is here, I think. I hear hum. I'm getting glow on one of the bulbs. You can't see it, it's behind here, but I'm getting a glow in one of them. I'm getting a little bit of voltage out of the rectifier. Probably don't have enough on it to get it to conduct yet. 60 volts. No glow in the dim bulb. Pardon my body. 120 milliamps. 6 watts. Here comes the noise. Something died. You know, one of the things I remembered, I forgot about, is I think this switch was turned to phono. So I need to switch that back to radio. Okay, that switched to radio. Let's see if that gives a different answer. There we go. Startled me. Something's cutting in and out. Go back and see if I've lost my filament string. Seven on the rectifier. Okay, I've still got 50 ohms going through. I believe it's going through the filament string. You see if I'm getting voltage on the filament string as I go through here. So I'm going to pick it up when I say 7. And we'll see if we're getting anything through the rectifier. Yeah, I'm getting voltage through the rectifier. The filament is, that is. Rectifier tube output is 8. That's here. Nothing. So I'm getting hum, but I'm not getting any voltage out of the rectifier. So I think the rectifier is out. Okay, we'll test the rectifier. Okay, so I tested a couple of the tubes. The rectifier is weak. I have another 35Z5 I might put in there, but this thing kind of, it comes up and flutters and drops and so forth. So I'm going to leave this one in just for the time being until I get some stuff stabilized. The output tube is just, it couldn't get out of the question mark range and it would drop and so forth. So I've got another 50L6 I'm going to put in. But before I do that, I'm going to just preemptively change our old friend the coupling capacitor right here before I even do that. So I'm just going to go in there and change that C13 before I do any more on the set. So let me get that done. Well, the coupling capacitor on the schematic calls for a 0.002 capacitor, and I've located what's in there, and it's a Sprague, and it's a 0047 instead of 002, and judging by the fact that it's got some different colored piping on it, I'd say this has probably been changed. It's probably a good capacitor, but it's the wrong value. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and swap it out. I'll hold on to it and measure it later, but I'm going to change that out. Okay, I've replaced the coupling capacitor from this one. This was definitely a replacement. Once I got in there, I could see that it had been J-hooked in. So this one had been replaced at some point in the past. Not the right value. I'm not sure it would have made any difference, but anyway, it's replaced. I've put in the old rectifier. I've replaced the audio output tube, the 50L6, and we'll see if we get anything different here. So I've got this measuring the DC output of the rectifier. We're just going to have to keep an eye on that rectifier. I do have another one I can put in there, and I may do it, but let's just see what we get here. We know that we're getting filter hum from this mess, but we'll see if we get anything that seems different here. 7.8 watts. Got a glow on the dial bulb. I just saw the dial light go out. Yeah, I think our rectifier is no good. Okay, robbing the stash. Fitting, it's an RCA radio. 35Z5. Alright, let's put this in. Okay, we'll see what we get. Voltage is down. Still don't have a glow on the bulb. Does that mean I've lost connection to the filament string? Yeah, I don't think I'm getting heater voltages. Yeah, we're not getting anything flowing. I don't think we're getting any heater voltages. I'm going to shut this thing down and go back through all the heaters again. Okay, so to save time, what I did is I went back and checked the filament string again. Did it with measuring resistance and went from the ground, or the common negative I should say, which is coming off of here, and just worked my way back to, you know, from here to pin 7 to pin 8 to pin 7 to pin 7 to pin 8, and worked my way back, and finally I got to pin 7 and I did fine, and then I got to pin 8 and nothing. So that showed me that the filament in V4 was bad, and that's the output tube. Well, I changed the output tube. So when I was doing the testing on this, if you remember, the one that was in here was kind of got into the question mark, and I wanted to put this one in. I didn't think it was relevant at the time, but when I put this one in, the one that I have in here now, the filament didn't glow right away, and I kind of tapped it or moved it around. I guess I figured maybe the contacts in the tube tester was no good, and the filament came up and came on. But when we put this thing on test, if you remember, these lights were these were kind of coming on and going off, okay? And what it is one of these is the proper tube film light, and the other one's a 44. It's the wrong one, but it still has continuity through here, but only one of them will glow where you can see it. Anyway, so this one was blinking on and off, and finally it went out. So that was actually showing us that the filament string died, because that's where it's getting the continuity through the system. So somewhere when we were doing that, the filament in V4 finally just went out. And so I put it back on the tube tester, and the filament's dead. I messed with it and I couldn't get it to work. So I'm just going to put back in the one that was in the set originally, because its filament worked, and it just maybe had weak emissions, but we'll see. Alright, so the one that's bad I have now labeled. And you'll find, I'm not going to throw it away because I might want this base for something later on, but at least I've got it labeled. Now it's dead. So here's the one that was in the set originally, 50L6, and we're just going to put this one in and see how it does. So we've changed the rectifier, but we're putting the original audio output tube back in. Here are the two bulbs, by the way. And that's a sign somebody's been in here, by the way. This bulb, look at that, just broke. That's it's a 44, and it just broke. So I'm going to have to one thing after another. I'm going to have to dig this one out, and I've got another. I can put a 47 in here, or a 44. I've got both. And let me do that, and then we'll get back to doing the test. I need to have something in here so I have continuity for the string. Hang on. Yeah, so I dug this guy out, and you can see it's a 44. See that? Yeah, it's 44. Let me get another one, put it in there. Okay, here's this is a 47 right there. Okay, we'll put this in. I have the right size bulb arriving tomorrow night probably. Okay, so we got both bulbs are in, ready to go, and we got the tubes straight. Okay, now we're going to see what we get. We're going to go to measuring. What am I measuring? That'll be if I want to measure plates. So I'll go to DC, and you'll watch the voltage come up here. It's down all the way. 10 bulbs in the circuit. Here comes the hum, if you can hear it. Okay, we're getting something out of the rectifier. Okay, I see glow on the rectifier tube. That's a good sign. So that means we got our filament string back. Not getting anything. Turn up the volume. I'm hearing scratchies. Let me put an antenna on this thing. Just clip a lead on. Just trying to make some reception. I'm going to turn the volume down and test the audio circuit. I'm going to switch this to phono, and I'm going to introduce some hum. I think that tells me the audio circuit's okay. So we're having a problem over here in the RF, or at least on this side of the detector. I'm going to put in a IF frequency and see if we can get anything to go through. So let me get my setup going here. Okay, we're at 455 kilohertz. I'm going to pop on the modulation. Modulation is on. Turned up pretty high. Okay, we're hearing it just being right here. Turn down the modulation some. Okay then. It's interesting. This sounds pretty clean, and that has distortion to it. Wonder why that is. So I'm not touching anything, I'm just letting it inductively couple. Alright, so we're getting something through the IF string. So let me put it on a station. See if we can pick up something. Let's change it to try 740. .740 is a relatively strong station. Okay, 740. Now I'll tune it to where 740 comes in. I've got a station.
And you can access it. Just go to reverse.
I'm not even using this.
Reverse mortgages, and then the numeral 4. Texans, like the Houston Texans.com.
That's interesting.
Reverse RACDRSE.
So I'm tuned to a station. I can barely hear it.
Look it up. On the cell.
But if I take this, my signal generator is off, but it is plumbed into ground for the house.
I just would like you to call me, please. And
Maybe it's because I don't have both speaker leads hooked up. I don't know.
when I take out the cash, I'm not limited to what I can do with the cash. So
Okay, we're able to pick up the signal generator, but radio signals aren't strong enough to be picked up. So I'm going to see about. Let me check some voltages. Let's see. We're supposed to have no signal, which we certainly have right now. I'll turn the volume up all the way. Let me check a few voltages, see what we get. So looks like output of the plate is. I need to go full voltage. That would help too. Okay. So let's see. The output of the rectifier is supposed to be 121. I'm getting 121. No, I'm supposed to be 121. I'm getting 113. That's a little low. Let's see. Well, that could be because these bulbs are not right. So let me just make a few quick comments. So that's 113. Okay, so we are a little low here, but probably within range. We're a little low here, we're probably in range. This is pretty close. This is really good. This is probably reasonably good because these are not, this one is a 47, not a, whatever that is. It's a 1690 or 1640 or something like that. Alright, so let's go back and I may be tempted to hook the antenna back up, but maybe what we ought to do is just go on to checking the alignment, see what we get, since we know we got it working. Can you see this right here? Can you see this tuning head right here? The wheel, if you will, that goes through to the operating the tuning condenser. I've noticed this is hard to turn. Notice how the string is related to the wheel. Another thing I noticed is if you turn this, it's going the opposite direction of what you would think. I go this way and it goes down. If I go this way, it goes up. This leg coming off here is supposed to go across and go counterclockwise. This has been restrung wrong. This is supposed to go, this is supposed to come from here and go over the top. See, it shows it right here. Go over the top and go counterclockwise near the cabinet or near the chassis. This, can you see that? It goes under goes clockwise and starts outside. This has been redone wrong. And this is crooked. And that makes me notice something else that I noticed before when I did the visual inspection. I just thought it looked weird. These grommets in here. These things are homemade. So I guess somebody went in there and changed those grommets out, and they've got the tuning condenser, as we say in Texas, cattywampus. I don't know if that's what's causing the problem here, but that's something we might want to fix, is to try to straighten that. I probably need to buy some right grommets on that to hold that thing straight in the right position. And then I got to return this, because that's not the way it's supposed to be. It's probably going to break if it keeps doing that. All right, I'll do that later. Let me see if we can get the rest of the radio to function. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to hook up the antenna as best I can here. I'm going to have to clear some deck and move things around to make room for it, so hang on. Okay, I've got the hardware out to reattach the antenna onto the back. It didn't really have to come out to slide the unit out, but I couldn't see how the knobs are on, so I want to make sure I wasn't going to break them because I was having a little difficulty pulling the knobs off. So just make sure how they're attached, and this was kind of in the way. If we do much more work on this, you have to be set up to where this is about the right spacing for the chassis anyway, so let's go ahead and get it back attached. Now I'm not going to do a fancy alignment here. I'm just going to see if this helps and what it does for the reception, because before I do the alignment I want to go through and change the electrolytics out and verify resistors and a few more things before I finish this, but this will help us see if we're getting close to functioning fairly well. We'll see. Okay, let's go power up. Turn it down a little bit. Here it comes. Turn volume up, voltage up.
I actually just watched a food show, one with Gordon Ramsay and two of his...
It's amazing what an antenna will do. This is really tight to turn.
You know, camp's a little bit different now because we didn't get off days. Like our first off day was typically the day after Fan Fest, and it was, you know, it was 2 weeks after camp started. So you kind of mark these days off, right?
That's where you gotta choose colors and stuff. I'm telling you, this is...
And we'll help you through a lot of your expenses and get rid of them and have zero payments on everything is what we're going to shoot for. Not just your house, but cars.
The unknown. And fans is about that. It's about being with each
I
other.
think this might be
It's
dragging on
about
this.
shared experiences. Where do you get shared experiences? Very few places. You don't go to the shared experience store, that's for sure. So, it's a very big factor. Jerry Dubin, NFL Chatter. We're going to talk about the league and what's ahead. That's next. CBS Sports Radio.
Yeah, backwards turning is kind of funny.
855-266-1600. So if you have a reverse mortgage,
State buyers paying for properties in cash. So that's a new term called holding in.
I think we got ourselves a working radio, guys.
Prepare all that for you. It's a fantastic place. It truly is. I've been going out there for a long time. Party platters. Go get some of that.
So I hear a little bit of crashing every once in a while. We do have some rain in the area today, so it might be thunderstorms. I'm obviously watching for silver mica disease,
A wonderful guest.
but it sounds pretty good.
Looking for things here. I'll say this. I'll tell you about a flying hotel tomorrow. How's that? All right, that's going to wrap it up for 50 Plus today. We'll be back tomorrow, same time, same station. Adios.
It's like going on vacation every morning.
Oh, well, I guess that'll be great.
Okay, I'm going to turn it off. Make sure I don't have a short down here. Okay, so we got ourselves a working radio. I guess next thing to do will be the electrical restoration. I'll go through and check the resistors. It doesn't look like there's anything seriously wrong. It looks like the capacitor even is working. I don't hear any hum. I'm probably going to check it anyway, or just go ahead and change it. I don't know. I'm going to go through and check some things, and we'll see how that all looks. Here I know that this is all crooked. I don't know if you can see how crooked that is. Can you see it now? Can you see how crooked that is? It's because these guys here don't have enough, those grommets are no good, and this tension from the string is yanking this over this way, and the string's not even on there right, so it runs backwards. It runs like it wants to rub off of here. So I need to fix this. I may need to order grommets for that, or see if I've got some grommets in my stock that'll work. Now that this thing has had a chance to power down, I'm going to take a look at the electrolytic capacitor that's in here. I'm not sure that that's the original, because I can see there's a shiny thing slipping out of this. So I've got power off. I'm going to want to make sure those things are drained. Common negative there. And one lead here comes over to here. I know I should be using a resistor, but I kind of tapped it to see if I got a spark. Okay, let's pull them out, see what we got. Yeah. Yeah, somebody restuffed this old tube. I can't even see any writing on it anymore. So this, I remember when I opened this up thinking those wiring didn't look factory. So let's see what we got here. This is supposed to be a 80 by 50. Let's see what we got. We got a 60 by 20. It's a planet. 76, 10, 13. So maybe this was done in 1976? Possibly. Let me make sure those things are drained. Hold on. I'm just dying to try out my Father's Day present. So my son, says, "Hey, Dad, why don't you go pick something out you like, because poor kid's like, what do you get somebody that's got all this?" So I picked out something. Yeah, Shane go talk me into it. So anyway, we'll give this thing a try. I've used it a couple of times on various projects. It's for capacitors that are over 1 microfarad. Okay, so you're not going to use it on paper caps and things like that. But you can work it on this. I had to re-zero it a little bit, which is no big deal. This is 0 ohms position here. And I need to print out a table of acceptable ESRs and just paste it here. So let's see what we get. So we have one lead here, and here's one here. Okay, we're getting about 0.8. We're getting about 0.8 ohms. That's probably okay. This one here. That one is 0.5, 0.4. Now this one's reading over 1. Oh, wrong ones. Dummy. Yeah. Can you see? You can't see. You can't watch. You're not watching. I know there's talk about these things having counterfeits, so I bought it directly from the company, one of the companies on Midwest Devices site, so I know I got it from a reputable dealer. Okay, so here to here, I'm guessing that's about 0.8, and here to here is under 0.5, call it 0.45 or something like that. So in terms of this, that's probably okay. How it does at high voltage, would be the other part. But as you heard, we didn't have any hum. So if you were looking for a problem and said, well, maybe it's the electrolytic capacitor, I think I'd say, no, it probably isn't it. The other thing is I need to order some grommets for this. I probably don't have the right size, so I can get this straight. So I need to order that, get this straight, redo the string, and do the electrical replacements of the components and so forth. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to call this video done from here. We know that the thing is working, and I'll do that restoration work in a follow-up video whenever I get around to doing it. I got some other things I need to take care of first. So anyway, what I'll do in the meantime is I'm going to order some grommets so I can get this straight. Then when we bring it back, I'll get this straightened out. We'll deal with the dial cord. I will have checked the resistors. I may have gone ahead and changed them because nobody needs to see that. If I find some bad ones, I'll tell you what I found and and all of that. Then I'll go through and change the capacitors. You don't need to watch me doing all of that. Change all that out. The phono connection, I'm going to clean it up. It's got corrosion, of course, and this is an RCA connector bulkhead type that comes through. That'll be nice for hooking up whatever you want. I mean, you could hook up a Bluetooth to it without doing any changes to the radio at all. And not that I think you need to, but anyway, I think we're going to call this one here from now. So guys, appreciate you watching and hanging around on this one. And when I get around to doing this one, I'll see you then. So until then, thanks, and I'll see you later. Bye.